driven into the sun Christmas, you get away from it. If you've got kids or you're related to kids, you can be part of it. You know, we all buy into the thing. Christmas is sun worship. If you look at the tree that you've got in your living room, you know, like the tinsel is open, you've got an all-seeing eye at the top, you've got a bloody pagan tree, you know, pyramid thing that's sat in the corner of your room. And then Easter, obviously, again, it's more sun worship. And some kids, for instance, are all Easter eggs and stuff. It's nothing to do with the fact that in chocolate, they're buying into a ritual. They're buying into more sun worship, whether you look at it or not.
Yeah.
And the same goes with, like, for instance, crematoriums. We haven't got any kind of religion tied to it. If you look at crematoriums, there's symbolism at crematoriums. You look at the 10 Downing Street, the number 10, there's a sun symbol, like the, you know, the centre of where our Prime Minister hides. It's Shell petrol, and it's sun symbolism. You know, and then, for instance, something I found the other day, my UK driving licence, hologram you can barely see, but I shone it in the light. It's the sun on my driving licence in Britain.
Yeah.
You know, you need X on the dollar bill. And so all I can say is that, essentially, with this symbolism, when people don't realise what they're looking at and what they're buying into, this stuff is like taking spiritual energy away. I.e., you know, they don't realise what it's doing. I don't know how to really put that into. It's like, we've only got our five senses, and like we're aware of everything within those five senses. But much like with the, you know, the spectrum, we're not aware of what microwaves and X-rays, infrared rays, and everything doing. There's stuff on them, and like our five senses are a filter. And it's almost like these symbols that have all been like fed with energy from, you know, if it was like a talisman, like they feed the energy from Mars in ancient Egypt. That's how they used to do it. It's working on some level we can't comprehend. That's, you know, basically trapping and deceiving.
Yeah.
And so, for instance, in my opinion, when you die and you get these references to people saying, I met Jesus and all this kind of stuff, and they tell you that they met enlightened beings and everything,
yeah,
they're so familiar with symbolism because they haven't asked what it's about or anything like that. Almost like if you, for instance, meet Jesus, you die and you go with him, and he'll tell you can be a lawyer next time, he'll send you back around again.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's like you're encapsulated in this, as the Tibetans believe. Tibetan is the New World Order religion, in my opinion. They believe in reincarnation. And so the reason why the reincarnation happens is if you're still duped by this system when you go through. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to be able to stop, you know, believing that the symbolism is to help you, because not. Opinion is what's going on is this thing, material, whatever related. It's much like the Gnostics believe, and in the sense of the Gnostics believe that data of the material universe, but they never ever, like, you saw there as the supreme being, or the God, if you like, because a malevolent force of sorts keeping us all entrapped in this matter, preventing us from being what we really are. And like the Gnostics used to say, when they died and they met the Creator, they used to say, you know, you're God, I'm a Gnostic. And essentially that's where they believed that they had moved on from it. And it's all like principle. I mean, they tried to wipe out the Gnostics, the Roman Catholics, but it's this principle, like people, like, when the spiritual event happens in 2012, when this spiritual event happens, if this spiritual event happens, the obelisks and the pyramids and the symbolism will still be around everywhere. Do you know what I mean? It may extended in a spiritual fashion and know about the seven chakras like that, but still going to be feeding your energy into the same machine.
Of course. What you're talking about here, as far as I can pick up on, is that you're talking about that you need to become smart, or you need to be able to interpret of the symbols and what it does to you, and not only that, you know, okay, we have sun symbolism, very good. What actually does it mean? What does it lead you, and so forth, and why, in what way are they it on us? Because in case you can also see that, look at nature. How functions of natures occur, we can understand that the sun is one of the most important elements that we have in order to keep sustain us as alive. So obviously one can understand that there is a veneration for the sun, but how it's being used, and I mean what you're here also, as far as I can pick on it, is a little bit of the Buddhist ideology or theme, that we actually are trapped in a kind of illusion, if you will, or the wheel of reincarnation, and that this is something that actually is a trap. To some extent, I don't agree with that idea, but I understand what you're saying and how philosophy can arise.
Think about, say, for instance, Matrix. Matrix had Neo, which is an anagram for the One, had Trinity, had Ion in there, had the thing in there. Of course, and since when Neo had decided that he wanted to know the truth, and he was no longer wanting to be kept in this illusion, and offered him the the red, and he to see the truth of it. There's a little rock that came up, a machine that came up and looked at him, and then the machine just looked at him and then shot him. Right? And you think to yourself, why didn't that machine attack him? And the reason that machine didn't attack him because Neo in the film basically had seen through everything. He knew the truth, and no longer could provide energy for the machines in that pod. Basically, I've got this kind of feeling that as we're approaching 12, we're obviously approaching some kind of new cosmological energy of some sort.
Yeah.
You know, something involving the universe, which we're probably far too for any of us to really comprehend at the moment. But working on before matter like idea, basically, I envisage what's going on. We're moving closer to them. We're getting closer to this energy all the time. My stay time between kind of thought and manifestation themselves is getting shorter.
Because we are being drawn toward the tractor through shorter and shorter epochs. And not only must our last 4,000 years of history be compressed into this 67-year period from 1945